Where is he at, man? He might be. Oh, there you go. I'm finna go grab Shane.
Okay, go get him.
Grab Shane. Let me grab Shane. I see some dudes.
San Quentin is one of America's most infamous prisons. It opened in 1852 and houses California's only death row. But the majority of inmates who live here are not condemned. They're serving sentences that range from a few years to a few decades. The prison is located near politically liberal San Francisco, and because of that, it's also home to some of the most unique programming inside of California's penal system, programming that includes the production of a podcast called Ear Hustle.
Two questions. One you may want to answer, one you may not want to answer. Mm-hmm. One is, what was your first fight in prison like?
My first day in prison.
First fight.
My first day in prison.
All right. That was the second question. First day. All right, let's go.
Against all odds, San Quentin's podcast became one of 2017's most popular.
I'm Earlonne Woods.
Earlonne is serving a 31-year-to-life sentence for attempted second-degree robbery, and he's the co-host and co-producer of Ear Hustle.
I wanted to visit the prison to see how the producers are prepping for 2018 and the second season of the show.
We're trying to get to San Quentin Prison. Do you know if we keep San Quentin Prison? Straight? Okay, cool. Thanks.
To get to San Quentin Prison from the highway, you drive through San Quentin Village, a long bayside road flanked by quaint single-family homes where middle-class white folks walk their dogs. The cul-de-sac ends at the penitentiary's perimeter gate.
Are you guys going to be doing filming or something?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so here we go. We are here to visit the folks who make the podcast Ear Hustle.
It's produced entirely by inmates behind the prison's gates, in collaboration with volunteer Nigel Poor.
It's really shocking when you walk in here because the garden is so lovely and it's taken care of by Frankie and a couple other guys. But when we start walking, you turn right, you go down a hill, and then you turn and we'll come into the yard.
Give me a good shot. Let me comb my hair right quick. How y'all doing today?
There are lots of things that are made inside of prisons these days. Furniture, license plates, American flags, even dentures. But you might not expect a podcast to be among them. Ear Hustle doesn't rely on reporters like me to tell its stories. Everything is made inside, including the music and sound design. And what's most striking about the show is its intimacy.
I like animals because I communicate with them better than I can with people. The first critter I had,
and he was laying on the floor, and he was like, "I'm all right." Excuse me, I'm sorry. I don't know if I can finish this.
As a child growing up, my family nickname for me was Ugly.
I've had some sexual experiences, but there's been a big gap from 19 to 43.
Think about my niggas in the grave, VIP, Lil Reg, at least you in a better place, man. Think about my young nigga gone, Rail Nation. Damn, I wish heaven had a phone forever.
The show's been covered in dozens of national news outlets. It's been the focus of specials, and it even reached #1 on iTunes just a month after its debut. But I was curious about what producing the show meant for the participants who were still behind bars, with an audience in the free world.
All right. All good.
The thing I wanted to talk to you about was your first visit with your mom. The first time your mom visited you in prison.
Oof.
Yeah.
I haven't hugged someone in a long time, right? So I didn't know if my hand goes around her shoulder or her neck. I didn't know if it went like diagonally, like 245-degree angles. So I didn't know. Like, this is my mom, and I don't know how to hug my mom.
How long had it been since you seen your mom?
13 years.
Okay, well, I think we're gonna...
I grew up in a household where talking wasn't encouraged. You know, so when I started dealing with the things that I dealt with that led me to prison, I didn't have nobody to turn to. I didn't even know how to actually express myself. I didn't even know how to open up and, let somebody into my world because I was afraid of judgment, of, being neglected, not being taken seriously.
I personally would like for the young guys to listen to these stories. Because, when I was growing up, people used to glamorize prison. Prison was like, it was just part of the culture. It wasn't like, oh, don't go to jail. It was like, you seen guys get out of prison, they was looking like Lee Haney. And, it was like, wow.
I hope that when people hear this, that it makes it easier for people to have conversations about the harder things, dealing with bullying, dealing with abuse, dealing with grief, even the birds and the bees. Like, Like, it's the things that we believe that, you know, the world will teach us, we don't have to learn the hard way, and prison is the hard way. It took...
Antoine has about 5 years left on his sentence, and Irulan has at least 10 before he's eligible for parole. I wanted to see how the Media Lab work stayed with people once they got out of prison, so I met up with Troy Williams.
A little over a year ago, I was serving a life sentence with many of the men in the room today.
Troy was instrumental in building up San Quentin's Media Lab.
It helped me understand a purpose. It made my incarceration mean something, because everybody else is always trying to tell the story of the black man or the black person's story. And it's like, I need to tell my own story, because every time somebody else tells my story, they never get it right. They never send the message that I want to send, and the message that I want to send is never received by the people that need to hear it. And so, if that's the case, how does that empower us? What does that do for our community?
It's clear that Troy, like Irulan and Antoine, hopes that these stories can actually reach the communities of color that need to hear them most. But podcasting is a new and quickly evolving medium, and it's not exactly clear who's listening and who's benefiting. Meanwhile, Antoine and Irulan are still in the Media Lab, hoping to reach people whose stories are still being written.
You know, we get postcards, or Nigel tells us, like, man, we hit this many downloads. So it's real, but it's unreal because we're still in here. Like, our day-to-day lives haven't changed. We have to just continue to work, and we have to just be okay with being in here, but still producing something that a lot of people actually enjoy. And it's overwhelming at times, but I think it's worth it.
The world only knows what it's been taught who I am, right? And the world has been taught to think about us inside of this little box. And I desperately want to expand that box, but not necessarily just for the world, not just for like white America. Like, I want to speak to my people.
Do you remember what was going through your mind when you first learned of your sentence?
Pain, hurt and pain.
I cried.
I couldn't critically think. I couldn't process anything. I was just overwhelmed for a year and a half later.
At first, I was in denial. I was thinking, no, there's no way they're going to give me a life sentence at 21. And when the judge slammed the gavel down and said, "I'm sentenced,"